But you pull it aside, I'll sign it before we're done. Congratulations, guys. Between the two of you, you nailed it.
Okay.
There's hope for all of us. You see that? Very good, guys. Okay. Last. Here's an interesting one. What is the meaning of mariachi? Come on, someone must know this. You've heard mariachi music. Genesis. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody. If you don't know the answer, where do you hear this one? Okay. In 1519, Hernan Cortez, the infamous Hernan Cortez, landed Mexico with his implements of war on his 11 ships. He had horses, swords, muskets. And along with those, he brought along the Franciscans, the Franciscan Padres. And guess what they found? They found the Coca Indians, C-O-C-A, Coca Indians. The Coca Indians fancied themselves musicians. Why? Because they had instruments made from very rudimentary things. Seashells, rattles, gourds, drums. They took branches of trees and cut holes in them. All they could create was 5 tones. 5 tones is not much to make music from. You can make some good rhythm. And in fact, in my book, I said the Coca were in effect rhythm sections in search of melody lines. Guess what? Here come the Franciscans off of the ships, and guess what they have with them? The violin, the guitar, it's actually the guitarra de golpe, a smaller version, and the arpa. Today, the folk harp is called the arpa jalisciense because it comes from Jalisco, but actually came from Spain. So guess what? The Franciscans were there to save souls. The Coca wanted to make better music. It was a marriage made in heaven, actually. So what happened is the Coca started to learn these instruments and play their music. Now, think about this. Do you think it's a coincidence that the Coca used 3 words to describe this music? And this is what the words were. When I say them fast, you'll see what I'm saying. Mari, Ia, and Chi. Say them all together, and he goes, Mariachi. Does that sound like anything we're studying today? Okay? It sounds like mariachi. I don't think it's a coincidence that they said these 3 words, and especially when I tell you what they meant. Okay? She meant what? Ia sounds like Mari, a deer running fast. Venado, a deer running fast. Their music was up-tempo, sounded like a deer running fast. And that's the way mariachi music sounded for a long time until it changed. And how did it change and when did it change? In the book, for you elementary school students or people who don't like long chapters, boring chapters about history, the whole history section, ranging from Hernan Cortez in 1519 to the second edition, Felipe Calderon is president of Mexico. That's how current it is. You will not be put to sleep because the entire section is only 25 pages long. It'll take you from the beginning to current times. Okay? Slide, please. Okay. Contents of the book. There's a mariachi pop quiz. Here's a good one. I'll ask you again. We got to laugh. Yeah, sorry.
Green coat lady? Okay.
Okay. A lot of people think, and you know, I don't want to try to trick you. Yes, I do. I don't want to try to trick you. Okay. In the mariachi pop quiz, one of the most popular questions is mariachi is, and under D it says, the French word for marriage. Mariachi. You want to know why they said that? Because remember, Maximilian, Mexico owned money to France, and France didn't want to wait for it, so they put an emperor, Maximilian, in charge of Mexico. Well, guess what? When people wanted to get married now, although they were French, musicians of Mexico were unbelievable, and so these people played, and so consequently, since the French word is mariachi, doesn't that sound kind of like mariachi? So mariachi is the French word for marriage. You agree?
No.
Fuller! She got me that time. The answer is she's absolutely correct. It is not. So you will get 20 questions. And as you read through those 25 pages, every one of those questions will be answered. The history of mariachi music, as I said, in 25 pages. Frequently asked questions of mariachi protocol. You may have heard of a woman by the name of Laura Sobrino. She's in the International Mariachi Hall of Fame in Tucson, Arizona. She was the original maestra of La Reina de Los Angeles, and then started her own group, Mujer Dos Mils. And if you were listening to the Olympics in Beijing last year, and you said, God, it sounds like mariachi music. Guess what? It was mariachi music. Laura was hired and her group by the U.S. Olympic Organizing Committee, and they marched in the opening ceremonies, and they played mariachi music at the Beijing Olympics. So she helped me with questions like, and you guys, some of you know the answer, okay? What are you doing when mariachi come to your table? Do you get your caldo get cold, your bebidas get warm? What do you do, you know? How much do you tip? Example, okay? So we got those questions. Now, to show you how things are really happening, my wife comes to me in March, and she said, anybody see this magazine, Sunset Magazine? Okay? In March, when they started 6 months ago, 7 months ago, before March, with the new essentials, 1 through, and this is number 7. Number 7, the new essential. Like, wow, we're discovering mariachi, unbelievable. We didn't even know this existed before in the Western United States. And guess what they say about it? In the age of the iPod, feel the warmth of being sung to, okay? This form of live entertainment is blossoming far beyond its rustic Mexican origins, with the West the new center of the universe. But guess what? A friend of mine from Chula Vista, Alejandro Carrillo of Mariachi Del Mar, they asked him a question, so how much do you tip? Which is covered in my book, by the way. And he said, tip anything you feel. Do not tip anything you feel. Imagine 10 musicians come to your table and they play a great song for you. You give them $1. Would you play a song for 10 cents? I wouldn't, okay? So be very, very careful. The book covers it from Laura Sobrino's point of view, and she's one of the top mariacheros in the world. All right. Moving right along. The music and the lyrics. Oh, top 50 mariachi selections. Laura helped me after the tragedy of my son, and I was sick also, and I was starting this book. And if I told you what happened to me, you'd think I'm crazy. I actually had brain surgery. And they said, if you ever come back to 80% of what you were before that, you know, it'll be a miracle. Well, thank you. Okay. So basically, she helped me, and I said, how can I get the top songs, the top most requested songs? She said, I'll give you a list of 150 of the top mariachi people all over the world. I'll write to them on your behalf, which she did. It took over 2 years for them to come through. What they did, when they responded, I transcribed each one of those songs. That's called tabulature, if you're a musician. I transcribed it. So if you play a melody instrument, the melody lines are there. Anybody play guitar here? Okay, how about a piano? Okay, good, so do I. So the melody on the piano is the right hand. If you're playing the chords, Mr. Guitar Man, Mr. Guitar Man up here, thank you, okay? If you're playing the chords, you have the chord section. You can strum along as a rhythm instrument. The syllabified Spanish lyrics are there with the tabulature. So for instance, if you're a professional mariachi or aspiring to become one, you know where the breaks are in the music, okay? Now, here's the part to teach you the language you don't know. Facing page, Spanish lyrics, line by line, and then English translations, line by line. Let's say you speak Spanish. That's great, now you learn your English. Let's say you don't. As you listen to the mariachi sing in Spanish, you now know what the song means in English. Easy book, right? Only took 3.5 years to write. It wasn't easy at all. Okay, the best songs and their composers, we talked about that. We give you a selected playlist. And Bruce, when I was growing up, we called those a discography, but that was a long, long time ago because we had these discs that had needles. You guys probably never seen those, okay? And then a bibliography. Next slide. Okay, so quickly, what makes a song a mariachi? Mariachi. Was it written by a mariachi composer? What's a mariachi composer? I'll give you some examples. Let's take a look at the song Ojos Españoles. You know who wrote that song? Bert Kempfert, a German guitar player. Would you consider him a mariachi composer? How about this one? You must know all about this song, Guantanamera. What does that mean? Anybody? Raise your hand. Anybody know what Guantanamera means? Yeah. What?
I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. I thought you did. Okay. Now, does anybody know? You ask a lot of mariachi musicians, they won't know it. Anybody ever hear of a place called Guantanamo? Well, a beautiful woman from Guantanamo, Guantanamera, is a beautiful woman from Guantanamo. It's actually a Cuban song. It was written by a Cuban composer. Yet it's a classic. Vaya con Dios, may God go with you. Les Paul, an American guitar player, and his wife, Mary Ford. So a lot of these songs are mariachi classics now. But the true question is, was it written originally for mariachi instrumentation? Mariachi instrumentation was originally 2 violins, a vihuela, a small lute-like instrument with a convex back, and a guitarrón, a small bass instrument, okay? It's also played with arpa jalisciense and guitarra de golpe. So these are original instruments. And by the way, here's another great question for you. Mariachi is the only music in the world that utilizes a vihuela and a guitarrón. True or false?
What are those things?
False.
A small lute-like instrument with a convex back. You can see them strumming it, okay? And also the guitarrón is a big bass. It's like the big brother. It's like a big convex back. They carry it. It's a bass instrument.
So true.
True as cook. Boy, you're good. The only music in the world that uses these two instruments. That's pretty unbelievable. Okay.